Cool. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the second week of computer CSE545 software security. And I hope that you guys have also already checked the videos in YouTube and have the, some understanding of what are the prerequisites for this course. In this lab, in this course, we're going to go through a lab and we're going to work on this lab together. And as mentioned in the Slack channel, I hope that you already have a programmable environment. I hope that you have already installed Python with the package called ponglib in Python so that we can start to program together in today's course. All right, so before we start, I'm gonna announce something about logistics. First of all is the office hour. We already make the office hour from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for me and from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 not a.m. This is a terrible mistake, but I mean, what I really mean is 1:30 p.m. So it's gonna be for TAs. I'm not sure TAs they can head up for 12 more hours. So let's make them, let's give them better that they have them only 2 hours for the office hour. And we will have 3 TAs in the office hour. They may rotate. So if you really want to talk to a specific TA, I will recommend you to talk to the TA first and make sure that he will be in that particular office hour, or you can schedule another time with the TA if there's anything like emergent. So this is the link. Yes, it's PM, not AM. Yes. And this is the Zoom link for office hour. You can join the office hour by using this link. But also, I don't want the office hour to be like the only available time to answer your quick questions. Feel free to use Slack. Feel free to ping us over there. And also, like every week, I'm gonna create a channel for the questions for this specific week, or I have a particular channel for questions for a particular assignment. And feel free to ask us questions over there. And if those questions that like can be answered in minutes, we're gonna just answer your question right away instead of let you to wait until the office hour. Okay, so also another announcement is that we are going to have our first assignment. If you check the course website now, you will be able to see the first assignment. And in this assignment, you are going to log into another website called Over the Wire Bandit Challenges, and you're gonna finish the first 15 to 16 questions over there. You need to achieve level 16. So the high level idea for the Bandit challenges is that there are many levels over there, and each level is composed of one challenge. And your task is to filter that challenge to get the key from the challenge so that you can use this key as the password of the next level's user so that you can log into the challenge again and play the next challenge. So this is going to be like challenge by challenge. And the ultimate goal for you is to get level 16, meaning that you will be able to log in as the user level 16. And if you have more questions, I already created a Slack channel called Assignment 1 Questions, and you can sign in to that channel and ask me and TAs the questions over there. So I saw some questions in our chat, and Daniel is asking, do I have to make a new account to be able to do the chance again? You don't if you have finished the challenges, but you need to be able to link your challenge to a challenge called WeChat, a website called WeChat, and so that we can track your progresses over there. the Slack channel's link will be right here. I know that this is an online course, and you will have to have a lot of links to remember. So in a nutshell, I just put them all together in this slide. You can save this slide somewhere. You can just take a screenshot of this slide, or you can even print this page out. This contains all the links that you will need in this course, in this semester. So I saw some of you are asking questions about the assignment. Let me actually just have a quick walkthrough of the assignment so that you can ask questions right now. Let me click the course website. And also give me a second. Let me enable screen sharing on the new page. Can you guys see the web page now, the course website?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. So let's take a look at the assignment. This is assignment, and if you click, you will be able to see the content of assignment 1. And very quickly, I'm gonna go through the content. So the deadline, as you see, is gonna be next Wednesday midnight. And you're gonna play this game. It's called the Bandit Game. And before you play this game, make sure that you have created an account that I can track. So go to WeChat, and then log in or create an account. I'm gonna just log in. If I can still remember my credential, let's see. Nope. Oh, okay. Good. I remember my password correctly. Awesome. So after you log in, click account. And now if you look at my account, you'll be able to see 2 sites that are linked with WeChat website. So if you are not connected, what you need to do is to go to link the site. And then here you will be able to see link a site to your account, right? And here, select the menu. And if you're not connected, you will be able to see overthewire.org in this selections. And then you just click it, and then you can just do a link site. And that way you will be able to link your WeChat account to Over the Wire. And after you do it, you need to do a second step, which is to copy paste your account information in Over the Wire, and copy paste that, in WeChat, set that as a environment variable, so that after you log into Over the Wire, play over there, you will be able to update your score to the account that you register in WeChat. And the way to do that is that you can check this instruction. I also link that in the course website. So you need to explore your user token information, set that, and put that into your SSH config, so that when you log into those servers, like Bandit server, you will be able to associate what you do with your account. And make sure that you really do it. Otherwise, we will not be able to know your progress. All right. Do you guys have more questions in terms of assignment? No? Cool. Also, I want to remind you that after you achieve level 16, you will need to finish this form. And in this form, I am going to ask you the question of how you solve each of the levels. And you can write a paragraph about what you did. You can also just simply copy paste your command in this place to denote what you did for each level.
Professor, sorry to interrupt. We shouldn't copy paste. Is that what you're saying? The command.
Yes, you can copy paste your command here.
Okay, so we have to give the command and then write the explanation on why we wrote that command. Is that right?
No, I mean, you can only just copy paste your command.
Oh, okay. Okay, just command will be fine.
Yes, just command will be fine.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so for the Bandit, it's actually very easy to start. I am going to show you the first level very, very quickly. So as you see over here, it has a description. It tells you that this is level 0, and the goal for you is to connect to this URL. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Connect to this URL on port 2220. So all you need to do is to SSH this place with port 2220. Okay, I am going to do that. So now you can see the terminal on my site, and I'm gonna just follow what it says in the web page. I do SSH. I'm gonna copy paste this link because I'm lazy and I don't want to type it again. And then to port, I need to use -p option. It asks me the information. Oh yeah, that's because I didn't specify the username. And see here it says the username is bandit0. So I need to put bandit0 at. Why does still ask me over our game server? Oh yes, and then it asks me the password and say the password is bandit0. So I'm gonna put the password over here. And I'm logged in. So this is level 0. And then you can click level 0 to level 1 and start. It will, every time you are in a level and you need to go to the next level, you need to check the web page in Over the Wire Bandit Game, and it will have a description for the goal of the level and the commands that you may need to solve this level. And this will tell you that what you need to do in order to get the password of the user of the next level. So suppose if you get the password, all you need to do is just like change the user's name from bandit0 to bandit1 and still in the same port, and then type the password that you get from previous level. And my tip for you is that take a note for the passwords that you already get, because if you're not able to go to the next level, you will still need the password of the current level of the current users. If you don't remember it, you will probably have to start over again in order to get the password. So make sure that you write the password somewhere so that you will have a backup if you don't know how to go to the next level. All right, so that's pretty much for the information for our course logistics and the new assignment. Do you guys have more questions about the assignment or the logistics? Otherwise, we're gonna start today's lab. Okay, I do see some questions in our chat, and I'm gonna answer questions from the chat. So how do I create an account? You need to create an account in WeChat. And if you just follow the web page, you will be able to see how to create an account very easily. And the second is, should we use ASU's email on WeChat? No, you don't have to use that. All I need is your WeChat account, like your user, your handle in WeChat. You don't have to use ASU's email. You can use whatever you want. Okay. And more questions. In wheelchair registration, it asks name of the site. Name of the site in reverse. No, that is a registration, like it's a security question just to make sure that you're not a robot. Like you're not a robot, and you just need to flip the order of the letters of WeChat. So it's not exactly. Okay, cool. Yep. Someone already answered. Thank you if I pronounce your name correctly. Sorry, and if I didn't. So yeah, awesome. What else? Do I recommend to use Linux for this assignment? I mean, that is a great question. And the reason why is that for this assignment particularly, it doesn't really require Linux because you are going to play on their server. Like you're going to access it to their server and do the Linux command over there. So basically there, you don't need to set up anything from your personal environment. So there's no such thing of whether or not I recommend to use Linux, because you will use Linux anyway. However, in the futures assignment, I highly recommend you to use Linux. And actually, I believe for most of assignment, you will have to use Linux. So make sure that you have a Linux environment set up. WeChat provides this assignment environment. So for this assignment, WeChat is just a way for us to track your account. And you actually go to another domain, another website called Over the Wire with all different kinds of a game. And one game is called Bandit. So you do the assignment in that server, in Over the Wire, in the Bandit Game. But in the future, those assignments is going to be hosted by ourselves. All right. If you guys don't have more questions, we are going to start. I'm going to start today's lab. So today we are going to log into our service and play the service over there, play with the server, and then log in your participation. So the goal for you today is to be able to log in your participation. This is the server's IP 3.209.56.190, and the port number is 2000. You should be able to connect to the server via netcat NC, followed by the address, and followed by the port number. And the service file is provided in this link. Now I'm going to show you how to connect to the server. Later on, you will be able to connect to the server by yourself and play it over there. Sorry guys, give me a second. I am figuring out how to use Zoom. Apparently it's more difficult than I thought. Because I do hope that I can share you, both the content, both the slide and my terminal. And also, I don't want any information about you guys leaked through the video. So I am going to actually close chat But if you still have any questions regarding, what I'm talking about, please just unmute yourself and speak out. Otherwise, I will not be able to see that from the chat. All right, I'm gonna share my desktop with you. Okay, you guys can you see my desktop now? Can you see both the terminal and the slides?
Yes.
Cool,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna do netcat 3.0. And also when I'm doing this, I hope that you can, open the terminal and do this by yourself as well. Just follow what I'm doing and see the number and then the port number. Because of the network latency on my side, it's going to take some time for me to connect. But if you are in United States and you are having a legitimate network, you should be able to connect to the server very quickly and get the message over there very quickly. Okay, now it pops up. So as you can see, it asks you to either log your participation or to exit. And let's just click, press 1 to log into the participation. And now you will see some like arithmetic addition questions. They will just ask you, what is the sum of some numbers? And say, this one is equal to 74, right? And then, okay, you do that correct, and you're gonna continue with the second question. What is the sum of 47 and 5? It's 52. Continue, continue. Suppose that you answered this wrong. Oh, that's very interesting. Why? Oh, because it will just keep looping until you finish all the questions over there. Okay. So even if you're wrong, it's gonna still continue. Something and actually there are many, many, many questions over there. But in the end, I will not tell you what the question is about, and I will not tell you, how many questions that you have to answer. But you can get that information by looking at the source code of service.c in service.c. And that is the service that we are running. So your goal is to bypass all the check, and in the end, you will be able to log in your, log your participation in this course. Okay, so that's pretty much the goal of this lab. And I'm gonna give you a couple minutes first to take a look at the source code of the service, and we can discuss. And also, if you know what to do for this challenge, feel free to start by yourself instead of following what I am doing. Okay, 5-minute timing right now.
Can you please repeat the task?
Yeah, so the task for you is to connect to the server, answering those questions correctly so that you will be able to log your participation. And the service is showing in the slides. You will be able to read the source code of the service that is currently running while you connect to the server. So basically you need to understand what the service is talking about and coming up with a script or coming up with an interaction so that you can answer those questions correctly and successfully log in your participation.
So how are we getting, when is the source, when are we getting access to the source code, or was that later, or?
The source code is the slides. If you look at the screen and take a look at the slides that I'm showing in the screen right now, you see service file, you see the link? Yes.
Yeah, got it.
So we were supposed to create a script that tries to exploit this program?
Yes, although for this, it's not really exploit because there's no vulnerabilities, hopefully. But if you happen to find one, that would be awesome. I suppose there's no vulnerabilities over there, but your goal is to be able to log into the service. Like you can, if it's successful, you will be able to see, it will ask your ASU ID for you to log in.
Spencer, I think there's a number of us who are trying to use Netcat to connect to the service, and we're getting no response. It's just kind of hanging after we, type in the terminal command. You get no response from it.
Yeah, you probably need to wait for a little while. I mean, there is a latency because of the traffic, probably. But I will also check. Yeah.
Professor, I have a question. I take a look at the service.c. I found that the for loop will keep asking us the question for 100
Yes.
times.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to answer 100
Yes,
questions.
you have.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. So that's why, it's a hint. Like, you can't really do that by yourself. But I mean, you can, but it's gonna take a long while, right? So
Yeah.
the question is, then in this case, what should you do? And also,
Oh, I see. Okay.
yes, so write a script to do that instead of doing it manually.
Okay. Thank you.
One thing, is the script should the script be on our device, or it should be on the service we're connecting to?
The script that you write should be on your device.
Okay.
And also, guys, since I already gave you the source code, even though you cannot log in right now because of the network latency, there's one way for you to also just like run the service locally on your site. You don't really need to like set up the service. What you could do is to use Pwn Lips feature to just like run this service executables and interact over there. I don't know if you have checked the videos of the Bash 101 in YouTube, but if you don't, I can just show you right now. So it's very easy. I'm gonna do this here. So this is the service code that I have, right? I believe this is something that you guys also have from the link. So just download it into your computer, and then compile it. Service.c, I'm gonna do this service, right? Okay, now you compile it and you have a version, and it will ask you, like questions and those menus and the check questions over there. And then what you can do is that just write a code. I'm gonna just call it play.py, and we do from Pwn import process, and let me just put this template first. All right. And all you need to do is to say, let's do R is equal to a process that starts and with this executable called service. Service. You see now how I am bad at spelling. Okay, and then you can interact. You can just do, say receive line. And you can print it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I'm trying to connect. I did the same command over and over, and I connected over different servers before. Right now, it's just not letting me connect. I'm not sure why, but it's being blocked. The request is being blocked.
Let me try this on my side too.
I am outside of the country, so there are
I
like
see.
firewall restrictions.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. But if you cannot connect it right now, you can just download this service file, source code file, and run it on my site, like on your site by yourself.
Oh, okay,
This
and
is
then I think,
this is exactly what I'm showing right now.
but how would I log in my participation or my attendance?
I can ask you for your attendance later.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and download it. It's just it was freaking me out because I'm trying to connect to this.
Nope.
Hey, Professor Bao, can you
Yes.
make sure there's egress and the IP address is working?
The IP address is working because I connected.
Because I cannot ping it.
Okay, let me try it. Yeah, there is a timeout. I guess it's because, okay, guys, there might be something, I guess it's because there are too many people connecting, so
Is there just like a netcat like on the other end that's piping, that's like doing IO redirection to this program that's running on the server remotely?
yeah, somehow, yes. I mean, it's not really netcat, but it's the same, yeah.
Oh, okay. If it was netcat, I think it has like 100 connection limit, but
Yeah. It's TCP server, but I don't know if TCP server also has a connection limit. That's a good point.
Okay.
Let me check. Yeah, it's possible. But right now, because I don't want to stop you guys doing this right now, I am going to, show you how to do this offline. And meanwhile, I'm gonna fix it. Okay, so now I'm gonna continue to show you how to run this offline. This is the code that you can write. It's very simple. It's a Python code. So basically, you just use PwnLab to create a process, and then you interact with this process, and you can print the the information coming from the server, from the service. Right. Right. So you see, there will be a lot of play.py. So you will be able to see that it starts the process, and you will get the message coming from the service.
Professor, could you go back to the script again, please?
Hold on. Actually, let me just copy paste this the script in this screen because I'm using that screen. Hold on. Okay, I copy paste the script over here. Guys, is any one of you are currently connecting to the service? If not, I'm gonna reset it. I figured out the problem. No? So I'm gonna reset it? Okay.
Doesn't connect. Okay, guys, how's it going? And by the way, the server should be back again. And I hope that you already be able to run the service at least offline through this command.
Can any of you give me some updates
Okay.
for what you are doing right now?
I'm actually logged in. So once you log in, you just put the values,
Yes.
but you write a script to do it manually, right? Or to do it automatically?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. Which was it was with the server that example you gave, right?
Yes.
So professor, do we need to find a way to break that loop, because it's asking like so many questions? So that's the thing, right?
So the thing is not to break the loop. The thing is to follow the loop and answer them correctly.
Oh, because it asks way too many questions.
Yes, yes, it does ask too many questions. So you don't want to do that by yourself, but you can write the script to parse the questions and answer it.
Okay, got it.
Yep. And guys, I'm gonna give you some more hint. As I just mentioned, the goal for you is to answer those questions correctly, follow the loop, and be able to answer this question for 100%. For 100 times. And after you answer them all correctly, you will be able to see a message asking you for your ASU ID. And let's write a script to do that.
Professor, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Like, does the sum needs to be exactly correct, or can we just dummy in 0 like for the sum, or does the sum needs to be accurate for 100 times?
Can you try to answer this question by yourself by asking the source code? By looking at the source code?
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, it needs to be exact. Thank you, Professor.
Sure.
May I ask a question, Professor?
Yes.
So I'm still using Windows. So I try to use like NC. It doesn't work on Windows. So I try to use the tunneling and OT software. Still, I have problem with connection. Is there any suggestion for me?
I think for Windows, I'm not very sure with Windows, but NC will not work in Windows because there's no such command. I guess you might be able to use Telnet on Windows, but I'm not sure. So you could either just search, Google it, and just search Windows Netcat alternative, or just search the Telnet command in Windows and get the information over there. Or you need to install a Linux virtual machine. And I actually would recommend you to install Linux environment, because in future step you will need it anyway. There's no way for us to use. Yeah.
So, is there can I do it by end of today? I mean, do I have some time to install the Linux and record the log, or it should be done until the end of class?
That's a great question. I didn't think about that before, because but if you need some time, okay, so if you do need some time, just Slack me on the channel, and then we can figure out how to do it.
Okay, thank you. Because I tried to run it locally, and I'm getting error on the on local as well. So I need to figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
So I was able to, I didn't know I was gonna need the server today. However, I got everything running. I logged in. It is taking a little bit longer for the script. And it's just because I gotta enable the server. and also write the script.
I mean, don't worry about that, Jose. We're gonna walk through down the script today.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was just worrying because I watched the video and everything, but I wasn't prepared that I was gonna, I don't know if it's like a quiz or an exam or something like that.
Oh, this is not the exam. Yeah, don't worry about that. This is not an exam.
Oh, okay.
Professor, I'm actually running it on the server, and it's asking me a lot of questions about the sum questions. And
Yes.
how do I now automate it using my Python script?
This is something that I will tell you later.
Okay.
Yep. Actually, guys, if you don't mind, I'm gonna start to show you how to write a script to interact with the server.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So can you just wait for 2 more minutes?
Sorry, say it again? Do you want me to
Can
wait
you
for
wait
you?
for 2 more minutes?
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
And Professor, if we are connected to the server, then we do not need to use the script that you've shared with us right now to run it locally.
Yes, exactly. But later on, as I mentioned, in order to log in successfully, in order to log your participation successfully, you will still need to write a script to interact with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys, 1 more minute. I'm gonna put a hard stop. And I already get some of you guys requests in the server. I see it. Good job. All right, 1 minute. I'm gonna start.
Someone's hot mic and someone mute themselves. It's distracting.
Hi, Professor. So I have the executable running on my local. So I'm able to see the menu and I'm able to do the summation and all that on my local machine. And then when I run the Python script, it says that the local process has been started and welcome to CSE545. But as for what you showed, it's not taking the new inputs coming in. Like it's
Yeah,
not
Michelle, if you don't mind, I'm gonna answer your questions later, okay? Because we really need to start, otherwise I can't finish the script to show you guys the script in time. Yep, I'm sorry for that. Okay, guys, now let's start. First of all, let's just have a quick walkthrough of the source code service.c. So when I read source code, especially for C source code, I usually just start with the main function. I like to read it from the top level down. So I'm gonna start with main. I know someone like to do this bottom up, but for me, I'm a top down person. So I'm gonna start from main. So for the main function, it has 2 parts. The first is print greeting. So it's basically a output. It's a print welcome message. Okay, and then the next is interaction. And give me a second, let me zoom this. Is this better? I guess this is better, right? Because I zoom in a little bit. Okay. Yeah, and by the way, guys, if you think the font is too small, let me know, because sometimes I just forget to do it. Okay, and then the second part is interaction. This is the actual meat of this service. And let's take a look together. This is interaction function. In the interaction function, so this is a big while loop over there. And what it does is it prints the menu. Let's take a look at the menu. The menu is a for loop that print two parts. One is log participation and the other is exit. And you already be able to see it if you just run the service by yourself, right? And then the second is it's gonna get a line from your input and convert that line into a number. And then it's gonna parse the number to see if the number is associated with log or exit or something else. So if it's a log, then it's gonna validate. And if you're past the validation, it will ask you your ASU ID and you just get your participation score. And now let's take a look at the validate. For validate, what it does is that it is a big for loop, as many of you have found. There's a 100 times of asking you a very fundamental arithmetic calculation, which is the sum of two numbers that are below 50. If you take a look here, you will be able to see that I call the service cost random. So there's no way for you to predict what exactly the number it is when it shows in the screen. So you cannot really like pre-code it, the answer for those questions in order to pass the check. So you really need to interact with the server and get the question and then parse the questions over there and then calculate by yourself and then tell the server your answer. So now we have a very, we have a high level idea of what we need to do. And let's just work on this together. I'm gonna reuse this play.py, the script that we just create, and we are gonna interact over there. I usually just like write some high level structures of the code first and then fill in the structures by the actual code. All right, so now we use this R, we're gonna start. And the first is we need to, we will get the menu, right? And then if you just run, take a look at the source code. Actually, let me still pull in the source code so that we can have a refer. So this is the part of the source code. It says, please select from menu, right? Or actually, let's run it. Run it will be even simpler. Okay, so this is the end of the message. Please select from menu. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna use this ponlib package and use the function called receive and-to, means that it will keep receiving message until you see some string that matches with what you have received. So we say this is menu, and pay attention to a space over here. There is a small space. So you receive into the menu, and then what you need to do is you need to send the line 1, right? Okay, so let's do send line. Now we'll be able to get to this stage. And in this stage, we need to answer those questions. Then how are we gonna do that, right? And now we need to answer questions. So we need to take this entire string, and the way that we do that is we can do r.receive line. Or you can also just do, actually you cannot do receive a line because this is not the end of the line, right? You can still type over here. You can only use receive and-to, and then you put question mark followed by a space. That means that you want to stop reading from there. And you know that you're going to have this for 100 times. So we need a loop to this for 100 of times. All right. And then in this way, you will be able to get the line, which is this line. And let's suppose that we want to print a line just in case that, for debug purpose in the future. And then we're going to split this line because what we really care is this two number, right? Because we know that the questions are all fixed. It's all about asking the sum. All you care is to get these two numbers so that you can add them by yourself. Okay, so the way that we're going to do this is we're going to extract these two numbers and we're going to just ignore the rest of those words. We're going to first do a split of the line. And after that, we're going to get the word, get numbers. So let's count. If we're going to split the line, what we're going to get is, those words that are split by space. So we'll get this as the first one, what, right? So this is 1, 2, or say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first number will be the fourth word. And we can do. And then let's get the second word, the second number. So the second number is, but here, pay attention, is that when we use split, it will have the question mark also included. So what we actually get is number followed by a question mark, and we want to roll this out. There are two ways to do that. One is we can just put, another index denoting that I want this string, but I want this string to stop at the last character, not including last character. The other way is to actually use the receive and to function. There is an option for you. You can drop equal to true. That means that you can drop what has matched with the line that you have received. Today, I'm going to just use this way. I'm going to do an index of the string. So I will be able to get the number A and B. And for a debug purpose, I'm going to just write A and B. Okay. Now we're going to calculate. We're going to calculate the actual value of the sum of A and B. Right, so let's do C is equal to A plus B. Now we get the answer, and we need to print it. We need to send it back to the server. So we need to do send line. All right. So now if we do interact, so now I want to stop over there and make sure that what I type is correct. And now if you look at the screen, you will be able to see that I'm doing this correctly because right now the first service is asking me for my ASU ID. Okay, so I can continue then. But before I continue, do you guys have any questions at this point?
Yeah, so the /service in the process, that was already downloaded, compile, and generate an executable called service, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so essentially you're just having a copy of the software that you're running.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yes, exactly. But what you do for the remote, for remote process is to use, which I also mentioned in our video, is that you can use remote followed by your IP address. In our case is, and then the port number.
Oh,
okay. You need to make sure that you remote. And this is the nice thing that I like for POM package, although some other packages, they all have this function, they also have this functionality, is that if you want to switch from offline mode to online mode, it's very easy.
So essentially this is the script and you're just running the service, but you can also run it through the server. And then the lower part is going to be the actual modifications you made. It's just, I was kind of confused on what the actual direction was, but actually it's much clearer now. Because what you're doing is you're opening a different terminal, you're running the service, and then you're seeing the output of the script.
Yes, and if you check the video of Bash 101 in YouTube, you'll be able to see that, you know, that is the way that we run a server. Like you write this interaction code, you actually just use standard in and out, and then you redirect that. You redirect that via like TCP server or XNetD. And in today's case, I'm just use TCP server. So it's very easy to redirect standard input in and out to the network in and out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I felt kind of dumb because I actually was trying to use the process. So I was trying to compile it and I had some issue with my local computer, but I could have just used remote and I could have just wrote the script.
Yep.
But now I know.
Okay. So guys, shall I continue? I guess that's a yes. Okay, I'm gonna continue. So now we know that after we run this, we will be able to, you know, get the information asking you for your ASU ID, right? And just to be clear, I'm gonna run this play.py again in the below, like in the bottom window, so that you will be able to see that. Oh, because let me turn this on. Right, so it will ask you your ASU ID. So we need to parse this again, just like what we did for menu, right? So we just write r.receive and to ASU ID. And now you're gonna send your ASU ID. I'm gonna send my fake one, my handle. And let's try it over here. I'm just do Tiffany B, my handle, right? Okay. And then it will say, you got it. And also it will ask you, select from menu, right? So I'm gonna do this menu thing again, but this time I'm gonna just exit. So I'm gonna do send line and then r.receive and to menu, set line to, and I'm done. And don't forget to close your connection in case of memory leakage. All right, that's it. And let's run this.
Professor?
Yes?
Yeah, so actually I'm not able to connect. It says could not connect to the URL and on port. So like, is it like, can it be that the service is down again or something?
Let me check. Yep. Yes, it can be. Yeah, it seems that it's not really down, but there's a very huge latency over there. I guess this is because we have too many people connected at this point. Could you just try offline mode at this point? Do the offline mode as what I said, use process, and later on you can connect to it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, guys, where we are. Oh yeah, so we have written this code, and right now let's try to run this code. Let's see if we can just run this code from the beginning to the end and get whatever we want. Okay, so it looks like it works. Now I'm gonna give you some time to remember or like record this code. And also, meanwhile, I'm gonna fix the service issue again. And by the way, I've seen more people being able to get their record correctly. Congratulations.
Professor, is there a way to change the tab settings? I'm getting indentation errors.
It says indentation error, right? So that means that there's something wrong with the indentation in your code. Indentation means the spaces.
Yeah, no, that I get it, but because it's Ubuntu, I'm not sure of the indentation. Like it leaves 2 spaces instead of 1.
That's not a problem. It's, I guess the problem for you is that you are not indent the structure of the code correctly, and Python is really depends on the indentation. So you want to make sure that, for example, in the for loop, every statement inside the for loop, they have the same indentation, and also like 4 spaces or a tab, depending on how you configure.
Okay, can I change the setting somewhere or?
Well, I mean, it depends. It's really case by case. But if you, in your, I don't know what editors you're using, but if you make sure that your indentation, that you just use space, and make sure that your indentation is always like 4, you should be right. You should be good to go.
Okay, sure.
Professor, I have one doubt. So,
yes.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
So far, yeah. So sorry. So far, I was stuck installing Windows Linux subsystem. So I kind of missed out what happened. But based on what I've seen, we've got the service.c, which is running in the server. We have to hit it and fire and answer every question, isn't it? But in this case, the way I look at it, we have the access to the service.c, so we know what the questions are and how many times it's going to repeat. But let's say we don't have access to the file, then how do we go about it? Do we run it forever manually? But that's too tedious, isn't it?
That's a very great question. Yes, you're right. If we don't have the source code, it's very hard for us to know what it is running or like how it is interactive. And but in reality, so consider the cases that you are trying to find a vulnerability in the known service. In a known service that maybe it complies with a particular format, such as say HTTP. Yeah, for those kind of service, we will be able to know that how you should be able to interact them, or say SMTP, those standard services with a particular format with the particular standard. But you're right, like if it is a customized service, and if you don't have the code, it doesn't have to be source code though. You can have the executable of the code, which is the goal of our course. Like we are going to show you and teach you how to analyze a binary code in order to understand the semantics of the code. So in that way, you will also be able to understand what does this code do, and also what is the possible vulnerabilities in the code.
Got it, Professor. So for the sake of the exercise, we just have to rely on the already given source code. But that's about it, right?
Yes, in this case, yes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Professor.
Yep. I mean, in theory, I just want to have a follow-up question because when I answer this, I'm also thinking, and my answer may not be very rigorous. I mean, in theory, you could still do it, and actually there are research papers talking about how to attack blindly, like how to guess what is going on the program without really know the the source code or actually about any code, any kind of the code. There is research for that, but in general, it is considered to be tough, to be challenging to work on a vulnerability discovery or hacking process in that way. All right, guys, I think the service is back and is up again. I'm
getting an error. I don't know if, like, I copied the line that you wrote and I'm getting a indentation error, expected an indentation block. I don't know if.
So indentation error is an error coming from a Python. So that means that the code that you copy paste has something wrong with, when Python try to interpret to run it. And when it says it's indentation, it's mostly because of the spaces that are set over there. So make sure that, like, for the statements inside main or inside a for loop, there's always a certain amount of the space. It's no mix of space and tab.
Yeah. The netcat is.
Well, do I give it another indentation, I guess?
To MI server. सर्विस એને તું ઓફલાઈન લે બરાબર તારા ઓલામાં
Sorry, let me answer you guys one by one. And for the indentation error, Jose, so you need to check for your code that if every line, if there is a space over there, like there's indentation in your code, make sure that they all indented by space. And also, like for the main function, there's no space at the beginning, but for the statements inside the function, there is also always just like 4 spaces. And if it's even embedded, make sure that it's also 4 spaces.
So, because I put it under for like 4x and range 100, and I put the colon, and then under that, I put line equals r dot receive until, and then question mark space, and then it's closed.
Yeah. So the
Can I show you
error message? Sorry, what'd you say?
Could I show you my screen?
Not right now, but there will be a follow-up office hour, and you can discuss with me or the other TAs during the office hour.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
All right, and Michelle, I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly. What is your question?
So Professor, so you showed like this is the way to exploit this file, but what can we do? What changes can we do in C file to make it more secure?
So for today's project, this is not a security bug. This is not a hole. And the purpose of today's lab is to, first of all, give you a walkthrough of how to analyze code, how to understand the code is doing. And second is to give you, a demo of how you will need to write code using Python in order to interact with service.
Right.
Okay, guys, we are really running out of the time and I have to stop, but I will keep the service running. And also the TAs will be available after this course, starting from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m., not a.m. If you want to talk to the TAs, or if you have specific questions for the code, just stop by in the office hour and ask us the questions. You can also ask us questions on Slack. And this is pretty much today's content. And if you don't have more questions, I am gonna call it a stop. And also I'm gonna start recording.
Hello, Professor. One final question. Is there any way of checking if our ID has been registered by the server, like any confirmation of some sort?
Oh, that's a great question. There's no confirmation. I should have set it up, but I'm sorry, I didn't have that confirmation. However, you can just send me the ASU ID on Slack, and then I can check it for you manually.
Sure, that's great. Thank you.
Yep, sure.
So,
all right, guys, I'm gonna give me a second. Let me stop recording. Well, actually, you have more questions? Go ahead.
Professor?
Yes.
Yeah, so when I'm trying to give my ASU ID, it says cannot touch record / my ASU ID. So will that be my ASU number or my ASU ID, or is that expected?
So that is because you're running it locally, right?
Yeah.
Right. So if you run it like remotely, log into the service, you'll be able to touch it.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Professor.
Yep. And guys, I mean, since the class has stopped, there's no more content. And if you want to leave, feel free to leave. But I will stay here for a while until the office hour starts, and you can keep asking me questions.